Welcome to Dare to Soar with your host, Dr. RC. Dr. RC will empower, encourage, and strengthen you. She will help you to soar to your highest potential while instilling hope. Please welcome the host of Dare to Soar, Dr. RC.
Good morning, everyone. Yes, good morning, good morning, good morning. I am Dr. RC, and yes, this is Dare to Soar. I am so excited for this conversation this morning, but before I jump in, here is what I want to throw out to you. Have you ever attended a meeting where everyone was talking, but no one seemed to be listening? Where decisions were made unclear, conflict escalated, and progress felt impossible? If so, today's conversation is for you. So, hello once again, and welcome to another episode of Dare to Soar, where we uplift, inspire, and empower individuals to lead with purpose, to serve with excellence, and to soar beyond limitations. I am your host, Dr. RC, and I'm truly grateful you've chosen to spend part of your day with us. Today's conversation is centered around four powerful words: order, leadership, accountability, and impact, where every organization would benefit from a parliamentarian. That's my topic for today. When you think about great organizations, we often focus on visionary leaders, innovative ideas, and ambitious goals. I want you to let that sink in. While each of those is important, there's another ingredient that is just as essential, one that often works quietly behind the scenes. It is that structure that helps organizations function effectively. It is a process that promotes fairness. It is that framework that allows every voice to be heard throughout decisions to be made and organizations to move forward with integrity and purpose. Simply put, leadership is more than a vision. It requires structure. Whether you serve on a board or a nonprofit, lead in professional organizations or association, work in education, participate in a faith-based organization, or volunteer within your community, understanding how organizations operate is essential to building trust, collaborating. This is why today's conversation is so important. We're exploring this. And to guide us through that discussion, I am so honored to welcome an extraordinary, what I consider to be an extraordinary leader, whose career reflects a lifelong commitment to service, education, mentorship, and organizational excellence. My guest today, Ms. Carolyn Franklin, LCSW, a respected leader in school social work and educational leadership with more than 3 decades of distinguished service. You see, Ms. Franklin earned her Master's of Social Work from University of Illinois at Chicago, Jane Addams College and Social Work, before completing a second master's degree in educational leadership. Following an outstanding 31-year career with Chicago Public Schools, she retired as a manager of social work services with provided leadership and guided more than 400 master level social workers. 400, yes, I did say, helping strengthen student support services across one of the largest school districts in the United States. Her leadership extends well beyond school services. As immediate past president of the Illinois Association of School Social Work, she has championed professional excellence, advocated for students and families, and helped shape the future of school social work throughout the state of Illinois as well. Ms. Franklin has also served as an adjunct professor at both the University of Illinois at Chicago and Chicago State University, where she has mentored, prepared future generations of social workers. And today she continues to make a meaningful impact through her private practice, leadership consulting, and professional development focused on leadership, governance, and mental wellness. Throughout her remarkable career, Ms. Franklin has remained deeply committed to community service, philanthropy, and empowering others through ethical leadership and lifelong learning. And while her professional accomplishments are truly impressive, one of her roles and treasures, which is most meaningful to her, is being a mother, to her incredibly proud accolades. And I'm indulging but these are her words, to her son, Jamil Franklin, magna cum laude, once again her words, who is a graduate from Howard University, whose achievements also reflect the same commitment to excellence, perseverance, and service that have defined her life's journey. So, welcome to Dare to Soar, Miss Franklin. I am so excited to have you. I don't want to jump in right just yet because I know that we're headed for a commercial break. So when we return, we're going to dive into these questions. And guys, let me tell you, yes, I have read her accolades, but it is a particular reason why I have this lovely, outstanding professional with me to talk about being a parliamentarian. See, when you talk about social work, there are a multitude of entities that we tap into, and there's a reason for that. And I don't want to dip into it because I love to give these teasers. And we got to go to break. My engineer is telling me, throwing the sign there. So guys, don't go away. I promise you, this conversation is going to be one you want to tune into. So while we're going to break, get that coffee, that tea, and go get your friends as well. We'll be right back.
Dr. RC will share extraordinary resources and services that promote educational success, as well as making a difference in the lives of all social workers, as well as the lives of children, adolescents, and teens of today. She will have open discussions addressing many of the issues that we face about our youth and how being employed in the uniquely skilled profession of social work for over 18 years has taught invaluable lessons through her personal experiences. She will also provide real-life facts, examples, and personal stories that will confirm that why serving as a child advocate is extremely beneficial when addressing the needs of the whole child. Listen live to Dare to Soar, Saturdays 10 a.m. Eastern, as Dr. RC will provide thought-provoking information that will empower, encourage, and strengthen students, families, and communities across our nation. You can also visit her at soarwithkatie.com. Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness: Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them, rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies, find settings that allow them to be the most productive, and track their progress towards accomplishing goals.
Welcome back once again. Yes, I am Dr. RC, and this is Dare to Soar. Order, leadership, accountability, and impact, where every organization would benefit from a parliamentarian. I want to dive back in. My guest, Miss Carolyn Franklin. I did read her bio so eloquently, but when I tell you, you are in for a treat this morning. So let me not delay or belabor this conversation. So, Ms. Franklin, for those who may not know you, tell us about your professional journey and what inspired your commitment to leadership, service, and organizational excellence.
Okay, first of all, thank you, Dr. RC. It is more than an honor to be on your show today. And, I have such utmost respect for you, for your commitment to social work, and for all of the things you've done for children and families. So, definitely wanted to say that. So, my commitment in social work and my commitment in leadership and just really social justice, it started, I believe, from the way that I was raised. I was raised by a Christian mother, one who said, pray for them, they'll be okay. We just got to make sure that we give the people what they need. Then I had a daddy who grew up in the South, well, the Jim Crow South. And he felt like demand justice, demand respect, demand to have the things that that you should have. So when you combine those together, I got a daddy that's a social justice advocate and a mom that's a Christian. So that kind of made me the social worker, the one who wants to make sure that everybody has what they need and that God's grace is given to everyone, regardless of where you are in life. I don't want to get political, but one of our past presidents once said that a parent of his told him, Joe, you're not better than anyone and no one's better than you. And so I guess I just let it out the bag. So I truly believe that everyone has rights in these United States, and everyone should be treated equally in these United States, in this world. So, with the Christianity that I was raised with, along with the fight for social justice, it breeded into me that fierce advocacy for human rights, for dignity. And so I went on and got a master's degree in social work because of the social justice realm of it. And then raising a Black boy in the city of Chicago, I wanted to make sure that I knew and was able to do anything that I could do and stir him and then other parents in the ways where their children could thrive and soar. So I went on, I wanted to be a leader. So I truly believe leadership is, no, let me rephrase, human relations are the foundation of leadership. So I went and got a second master's in leadership development. And so I put all those together and I was able to be elevated and promoted to be the manager of social work. And I believe my reign as manager has exceeded any others in Chicago Public Schools. And I'm super proud of that. Not for me, but I'm proud of what we've been able to do for children and families. So that's me in a nutshell, Dr. RC. I'm a fierce advocate. I'm a person who believes that everyone has rights. Hence, I'm a leader and a social worker.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you for your transparency also, because all those are key elements. And I know as listeners are tuned in, and even when they hear the playback, that is going to be, there are going to be some key elements and words of empowerment also. I love dropping those golden nuggets, as I like to call them, because you just never know where a person is in their journey. And that helps to push them and elevate them to the next level as well. Now, I want to go a little further. Let's dig into this parliamentarian word, because those are some key elements, especially when you're dealing with individuals that are on and collaborating on boards, no matter what level they're on. So when people hear the word parliamentarian, many immediately think about rules and procedures. How do you explain the role in a way that helps people to understand its true value?
Okay, great question. When you think about parliamentarian, many people do think about rules, but they are rules of order. They are rules so that to ensure that everyone's rights are respected. They are rules to ensure transparency. Uh, Parliamentary procedure really is just about a set of guidelines to ensure everyone has equal voice. That goes back into social justice, to ensure everyone has a right, that everyone has one vote and the majority rules, transparency, order. And so, hence, parliamentary procedures are merely meant to ensure that there's orderly meetings and that everyone's voice is counted and everyone has the right to speak and that the majority is respected. That's simply all it is. It's just a way to structure your meeting with an agenda, because if anything you start, you need to have, a plan for it. If there's no vision, the people will perish. You got to have a vision, and your vision should be in writing. And when you come to the meeting, you should be respected to know what exactly is going to be the action that's going to be performed in that meeting, and that hence your agenda. Your meeting is called to order. And so order is pretty much the word. Order and parliamentary procedures pretty go hand in hand with transparency and also equal voice. And that's all it is in a nutshell.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ms. Franklin. Now, guys, it is time for a commercial break, but when we return, I'm going to ask Ms. Franklin to share with you all, because I just didn't ask her to come on just out of the air, because I always tell you that anyone I have on here, there's backing behind what they share. And she's going to share with you why she is able to discuss being a parliamentarian. And she does have some backing behind what she is sharing. And that she'll provide with you when we return from this commercial break. We'll be right back.
Did you know that your beliefs create your entire reality, but it's the subconscious beliefs that do most of the creating? Belief shifter and life coach Shiraz can help you identify those limiting beliefs and eliminate them, often in a single session.
Like, it was almost instant. Like, I had relief right away.
Creating better health, relationships, careers, and finances. Let Shiraz help you step out of safety and into awareness.
Definitely something's happening. It's like a flow inside. It feels good.
Whether in person or online, Shiraz provides personal coaching, belief shifting. Visit Shiraz at energeticmagic.com or call 416-529-7429. Energetic Magic. Find your greater happiness. Be well. Be aware. Be magical.
Are you struggling to care for elderly parents or a spouse? Do you wonder if being a caregiver is making you sick? Are you worried about taking time off work to care for elderly parents and balance work, life, and caregiving? Has caregiving become exhausting and emotionally draining? Are you an aging adult who wants to remain independent, but you're not sure how? I'm Pamela D. Wilson. Join me for the Caring Generation radio show for caregivers and aging adults, Wednesday evenings, 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern, where I answer these questions and share tips for managing stress, family relationships, health, well-being, and more. Podcasts and transcripts of The Caring Generation are on my website, PamelaDWilson.com, plus my caregiving library, online caregiver support programs, and programs for corporations interested in supporting working caregivers. Help, hope, and support for caregivers is here on The Caring Generation and PamelaDWilson.com.
Welcome back once again. Yes, it's me, Dr. RC, and you are tuned in to Dare to Soar. I know that you have gotten so much out of the questions that I have asked my guest, Ms. Carolyn Franklin, who is sharing about order, leadership, accountability, and impact, and why organizations would benefit from a parliamentarian. She's been dropping just a few nuggets just thus far, but there is more. Now, right before the break, she shared about the word parliamentarian. But I did share, I was going to ask her, what makes her, dare I say, expert? What gives her the certification? Now, I always tell you, I just don't bring individuals on here just because I'm pulling them out the sky. No, 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 no. Dr. RC doesn't do that. So, Ms. Franklin, please share with the Dare to Soar family your expertise and background in the parliamentarian world.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. RC. Well, first and foremost, I became interested in parliamentary law because of my desire to know. I was once told that if you know parliamentary law, knowledge is power, and then you know how to structure a meeting. So I started to study it early in my college life, and then I've taken multiple courses from NAP, which is the National Association of Parliamentarians. And I'm now working toward, I would like to become a nationally to be the highest level of parliamentarian, which I am working on, which is a very difficult task to have, but I'm definitely working on that. I've served as parliamentarian 4 times for organizations. I'm in a sorority, and our sorority, because of my knowledge and skills, I was asked to serve as parliamentarian for one of our our regional conferences. The parliamentarian was not available, and I've been on her committee, and they knew that I had an expertise and I had great knowledge. So they allowed me to sit in for her, which was one of the honors of my life, to do just that. I've taught parliamentary procedures to the undergraduates. I've taught parliamentary law in my school district. I'm like, we're going to do this, we're going to do it right. So my knowledge regarding parliamentary procedures is well documented and well known. And it's something that I have a thirst for, a knowledge. I remember going to the Midwest Council of Social Workers Conference, and they said, "Hey, we need a parliamentarian because we don't have anyone here." And they said, "Does anyone have knowledge?" And I raised my little hand and I said, "I do. And I'll be more than glad to sit in and help you with your meeting and how things were to go." And they were more than grateful for my knowledge base and then my input into their meeting to ensure that it functioned within their governing document. Many organizations have bylaws. Okay. And in their bylaws, they specify what rule of order they will be utilizing. And one of the most generally accepted rules of order is called Robert's Rules of Order. It's used with the United States government. It's used with most municipalities. And so I study it. I know it. I am I have a thirst for knowledge to continue to know it. And my apology, I have a 4-year-old that just started to bark, so I apologize for that. Uh, I know parliamentary law and I know Robert's Rules of Order. I teach it, I breathe it, I love it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So as we move on, and thank you for your transparency, because I always want individuals to know that this is something that you are trained in as well, and you're just not spewing off information haphazardly. And that's a great thing to be able to share with transparency. So what are some of the most common misconceptions people have about parliamentarians and the parliamentary procedure as well?
Well, one thing about being a parliamentarian that people don't know is that in most organizations, and this is really recommended by Robert's Rules of Order, the parliamentarian does not vote. The parliamentarian is one who sits quietly and who is an advisor to the presiding officer, the president. When you're presiding over a meeting, the president has to ensure that there is order. So the parliamentarian is like the president's right-hand person to ensure that order is being maintained, to ensure that the bylaws are being respected, and to ensure that Robert's Rules of Order is maintained in that meeting. So usually, the president does not have a vote in most organizations. When you're voting on simple motions, the president has to be one who remain impartial, and then the body decides. The president would only vote if they're going to break a tie. If there are like 20 people and it's on in the particular foundation or board, and there are 10 that vote yes, 10 that vote no, then the president would break that vote. The parliamentarian should not vote. The parliamentarian should remain neutral to ensure that parliamentary law, nothing is influenced by your role as parliamentarian. The parliamentarian should know Robert's Rules of Order. The parliamentarian should have a very good grasp of that organization's bylaws, histories, past practices, and fairness to all members. So the parliamentarian should be held at a very high level because you're this impartial person that's going to ensure that everyone's voice is being heard, everyone's voice is being heard, and vote is being counted, and that the law of the land is maintained.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And these are great processes to have and know. When I look at what is occurring across the country right now, we all need to be aware as things are developing when we have voting processes and things of that nature. It never ever hurts to brush up on the
Hmm.
processes of how things
Yes.
need to be done. You need to make yourself aware to know and understand and make sure your steps are in order. That's clearly very important to understand those things. On that note, it is time for another commercial break. I want you all to take note of that. Go get that coffee, that tea. And I truly hope that those notebooks and those pages are flipping because these are critical notes that you should be taking for future references as well. Don't go away. We do have more to share.
Mike Zorich, a three-time California state champion in Greco-Roman wrestling at 114 pounds. Mike, blind since birth, was born in Hartford, Connecticut. He was a six-time national placer, including 2 seconds, 2/3, and 2/4. He also won the Veterans Folk-Style Wrestling twice at 152 pounds. In all these tournaments, he was the only blind competitor. Nancy Zorich, a creative spirit whose talents have taken her to the stage and into galleries and exhibitions in several states. Her father, a commercial artist who shared his instruments with his daughter and helped her fine-tune her natural abilities, influenced her decision to follow in his footsteps. Ms. Zorich has enjoyed a fruitful career doing what she loves. Listen Saturday mornings at 12 Eastern for the Nancy and Mike Show for heartwarming stories and interesting talk. What if there were a super tiny device that could diagnose the brain and is smaller than a single human hair? What if you could see inside the brain to help an epilepsy patient during surgery or to help the fight against Parkinson's disease? Dr. Patricia Broderick is proud to announce the Broderick Probe, a biomedical and electronic breakthrough. Imagine a probe to help with the understanding and potential cure of brain-related diseases. To learn more, listen live to the Easy Sense radio show with host Dr. Broderick. And to help support the Broderick Foundation, please go to easysense.com and learn how, with your help, we can fight these horrific brain disorders. That's easysense.com to learn more and help support the Broderick Foundation.
Oh, we have returned. My guest, Miss Carolyn Franklin. Oh, I know that you're getting so much out of this conversation. Dare to Soar with me, Dr. RC. My guest is dropping so many golden nuggets. Oh, I want to dive right back into these questions. Miss Franklin, now, right before the break, we talked about, the common misconceptions, but I want to just shift us a little bit. You tapped into, the Robert's Rules of Orders, but let's shift right into that. So Robert's Rules of Order are often, just kind of associated with parliamentarian procedure. Now, for listeners who just may be unfamiliar with it, say, what is it? How does it help organizations function more effectively?
Okay, so Robert's Rules of Order is the most widely used manual of parliamentary procedures in the United States. It provides a framework for how organizations conduct meetings, how they discuss issues, and how to make motions and how to vote on decisions. The purpose pretty much is to create um, order and effectiveness in meetings. By establishing common practices for decision making, Robert's Rules of Order pretty much helps organizations avoid confusion, manage disagreements respectfully, and also focus their energy on advancing their mission rather than debating their procedures. So it pretty much just helps the flow of the meeting. Robert's Rules of Order, if you wanted to look it up for your organization, you really should, because it's an effective, efficient time management for meetings. Instead of just sitting, oh, let's do this. No, 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 no. It pretty much elevates your functioning and makes you more effective and efficient. And it's the best. I recommend Robert's Rules of Order. There, I know my organization, my state organization for social work. Initially, when I came on to the board, we were using a different rule of order, and then I suggested that we go to Roberts, and the motion passed because it has to be. Everybody has a voice, and when you're making your motion, you make a motion, and then you debate it and you discuss it. And when you're discussing it, you bring forth evidence as to why. And so the evidence that was brought by myself and a few other individuals prompted the organization to say, we need to use Roberts. And so we did, almost by a majority vote.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I love that. I love that. Love switching to it and then bringing it into the flow. So it's a benefit for the organization, everybody, to have that copy and follow those guidelines. So as we continue to move forward, with the parliamentarian, I want to kind of shift back into that lane. How does that parliamentarian procedure help ensure, we talked about the fairness, but how does they, if you will, dip back into that or delve back into that a little bit more and help ensure the fairness and the transparency portions of that and the, that accountability within within an organization?
Okay, good, great question. The parliamentary procedures, like I said, it ensures fairness. It gives all members an opportunity to participate. It is okay if you have a difference in opinion.
Mhm,
It's okay to say, this is how I feel. Everyone has a voice, everyone has a vote. It's like a democracy. It pretty much brings in the fact that we all are different.
mhm,
We all have a voice, and the majority rules, and it brings
mhm,
about fairness. One thing about Robert's Rules of Order, let's say that you want to have, it gives you structure. Let's say you have a situation, and I know in my organization very recently, we had to have a call meeting to pass a budget. Uh, Robert's Rules of Order indicates if you're going to have a call meeting, you need to have an advance notice of the call meeting. 7 days in advance, everyone should get an email or some type of notification that, hey, we're going to have a call meeting, and then the agenda item. What is
mhm,
on agenda for this call meeting? So there's fairness because you got advance notice and you have an agenda item, and it has to be 7 days in advance. So, and these procedures are so important because let's say that you just said, oh, you woke up in the morning, we're going to have a call meeting today. Well, everyone has something to do, but advance notice gives everyone that fair opportunity to plan to attend so that their voice is heard and their vote counts. So it's
mhm,
about fairness, transparency. Another thing Robert's Rules of Order dictates is that in every meeting, there's some mandated reports. The treasurer's report. Every meeting should have a treasurer's report. If there are recommendations in reports, there should be, I move to accept my report. Reports can be accepted if there are action items in that report.
mhm,
However, the treasurer's report can never be accepted because the treasurer's report is subject to audit. So, how can
mhm,
you accept something that hasn't been audited?
mhm,
To ensure, and the treasurer's report, everyone should know about the money, the membership, and all of the laws. And
mhm,
those are, every meeting should have a presiding officer and a secretary. And that secretary is taking the what? The minutes. The minutes should be approved in every meeting. So prior to the meeting, you should have minutes. And the minutes are going to dictate what transpired at the prior meeting. So when you come to the meeting, the presiding officer will call the meeting to order. You're going to review the minutes. Robert's Rules of Order will give you a suggested agenda, and you modify it or tailor it to the needs of your organization. Robert's Rules of Order indicates that every organization should have, the president should pretty much know about everything happening. The president should have no dealings with the nominations committee because you want to make sure that that committee is impartial, and the auditing committee. That committee
mhm,
should be impartial. You're looking at the money. You're looking at the individuals who are being nominated for office. So you want to make sure those committees are not impacted by anyone. They stand alone, but they have to report. But you want to make sure there is no uh, indication of anything improprieties in those committees. So that's how Robert's Rules of Order dictates fairness, and it dictates transparency, and it dictates that a free and a fair election is always one that is given. Robert's Rules of Order also gives you a framework for your bylaws.
mhm,
So it's such a great document for if you start in an organization or if you have an organization, you want to have rules of order. Okay,
mhm.
I'm Quacious, uh, Dr. RC, I'm going to stop because I can get on a roll because you can see I got that passion for this stuff.
I can tell. I can tell. But that's great information. That's great information. It is time for another commercial break. Thank you so much, Ms. Franklin, for your transparency. I know that this is a wealth of information for many who are listening and who will listen to the playback. Guys, we have more information when we return. Don't go away. Take your break. We will be right back.
Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness: Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them, rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies, find settings that allow them to be the most productive, and track their progress towards accomplishing goals. Did you know that your beliefs create your entire reality, but it's the subconscious beliefs that do most of the creating? Belief shifter. Did you know that your beliefs create your entire reality, but it's the subconscious beliefs that do most of the creating? Belief shifter and life coach Shiraz can help you identify those limiting beliefs and eliminate them, often in a single session.
Like, it was almost instant. Like, I had relief right away.
Creating better health, relationships, careers, and finances. Let Shiraz help you step out of safety and into awareness.
Definitely something's happening. It's like a flow inside. It feels good.
Whether in person or online, Shiraz provides personal coaching, belief shifting. Visit Shiraz at energeticmagic.com or call 416-529-7429. Energetic Magic. Find your greater happiness. Be well. Be aware. Be magical.
Welcome back once again. Oh my gosh, I feel your energy on this conversation. I know that you're getting so much out of it, and I'm so thankful for that. Order, leadership, accountability, impact. Why every organization can benefit from a parliamentarian. Ms. Carolyn Franklin, LCSW, she is dropping so many golden nuggets. I want to delve back in. Our time is going by so quickly. So, Ms. Franklin, without naming names, and we don't want you to name any names, can you share an example of how poor governance or failure to follow procedures created challenges for an organization?
Absolutely, Dr. C. Throughout my career, I have observed situations where organizations made significant decisions without fully following their bylaws or their established procedures. I'm thinking of one particular instance where the leaders moved forward with a major initiative without adequate member engagement or transparency. And so, what that does, it took away the members' rights to vote. Although their intentions were positive, the lack of process created confusion, mistrust, and division among the stakeholders. The organization ultimately spent more time repairing relationships than implementing the initiative. And that experience reinforces the belief that governance is not about bureaucracy, it's about building trust, credibility, and organizational stability. So when you follow and do it the right way and give everyone a voice and a vote, you build transparency. I'm a firm believer that leadership is about human relations and trust. And when you see someone in leadership and it's more of a dictatorship and not a collaboration, then individuals feel left out. And many times they may leave your organization. Or in some instances, I've seen where when parliamentary procedures and the um, bylaws were not followed, you can be sued because if you do something, if you say these are our rules and then you don't follow them, then you leave yourself open to vulnerability. So it's just so important just to create the rules based on a Robert's Rules of Order is tried and true.
Mhm.
Create your rules, follow your rules, have a parliamentarian. Organization without a parliamentarian, I think they leave themselves open. And the parliamentarian, in per Robert's Rules of Order, is somebody who should be appointed by the president, only because the president, you're going to be that person's right hand person. You should
Mhm.
know, many a times some organizations have past presidents function as parliamentarian. And that's not a bad idea because
Mhm.
you sat in the seat before. You should know parliamentary. You definitely know parliamentary procedures. You know the bylaws because you were past president. And so, yeah, so it's important that we reduce risk. Having a parliamentarian reduce risk of the organization and safeguard the organization's assets, reputation, and sustainability.
Mhm. I love that. Thank you. Thank you for your honesty and sharing that. That is important and some key elements to take away. If you could wave a magic wand and eliminate three governance mistakes that organizations repeatedly make, what would they be?
Oh, that's a great question. I think that one mistake that many times people make is having a meeting without an agenda. And that's
Mhm.
waste of time because you should know what's going on. You should have a plan. You should not have to, for lack of a better term, willy-nilly. You should have an organized structure of this is how it's going to go. You always want to improve and be a professional. So I always say in an organization, when I became president of my organization, I wanted to maintain and elevate. I want to
Mhm.
maintain the status quo, but elevate our functioning. And I think I did that. Um, Another thing, a big mistake that they make in meetings, individuals just start to like address the whole body. Okay, members, I feel no, you address the chair and you say, this is what's going on. You address the chairman, not the body. It is not a speech that you're giving. You're giving an opinion or you're debating a situation. And you utilize Robert's Rules of Order indicates also that when you're talking about it, you shouldn't say, like, for instance, if I was the treasurer and we were talking about the financial report, what Carolyn's report, no, you depersonalize by saying the financial report. It's not Carolyn's report, it's the
Mhm.
financial report. So addressing the chair, depersonalize things because you want to always ensure that you're respectful. So you say the committee or the report when you are addressing a situation. Um, Another, I motion that. Learn how to properly make a motion. It's not I move that, it's I move that. And then I
Mhm.
second. So I move that um, Dr. RC's podcast become nationwide and and then I second the motion. So and a motion should never be negative. I move that we not. A motion
Mhm.
should never be, it should not be a negative motion. And you make a motion and the body will vote it up or down. You don't say, I move that we not spend money on, no, never motion should always be made in the affirmative, in the positive.
Mhm.
So those are just some things, making motions, speaking to the chair when you're addressing an issue, depersonalize it by using the committee's name and not Carolyn's report and ensuring that you give a vote. Some votes can be taken hand vote, or if it's something that's a very sensitive, then you then can do a ballot vote to protect the person's right to not let everyone know how they voted.
Right.
So those are
Right.
those are some very common things that we should do because everyone's voice should be heard and everyone's vote should be heard.
Absolutely, absolutely. Guys, it is time for another commercial break. Thank you so much, Ms. Franklin, for those tips. I know that individuals will embrace them. They're taking notes of them. Guys, we'll be right back after this commercial break.
Are you struggling to care for elderly parents or a spouse? Do you wonder if being a caregiver is making you sick? Are you worried about taking time off work to care for elderly parents and balance work, life, and caregiving? Has caregiving become exhausting and emotionally draining? Are you an aging adult who wants to remain independent, but you're not sure how? I'm Pamela D. Wilson. Join me for the Caring Generation radio show for caregivers and aging adults, Wednesday evenings, 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern, where I answer these questions and share tips for managing stress, family relationships, health, well-being, and more. Podcasts and transcripts of the Caring Generation are on my website, PamelaDWilson.com, plus my caregiving library, online caregiver support programs, and programs for corporations interested in supporting working caregivers. Help, hope, and support for caregivers is here on the Caring Generation and PamelaDWilson.com.
Dr. RC will share extraordinary resources and services that promote educational success, as well as making a difference in the lives of all social workers, as well as the lives of children, adolescents, and teens of today. She will have open discussions addressing many of the issues that we face about our youth and how being employed in the uniquely skilled profession of social work for over 18 years has taught invaluable lessons through her personal experiences. She will also provide real-life facts, examples, and personal stories that will confirm that why serving as a child advocate is extremely beneficial when addressing the needs of the whole child. Listen live to Dare to Soar, Saturdays 10 a.m. Eastern, as Dr. RC will provide thought-provoking information that will empower, encourage, and strengthen students, families, and communities across our nation. You can also visit her at soarwithkatie.com.
Oh my goodness, guys, this time has gone by so quickly. Welcome back once again to Dare to Soar with Dr. RC. And my guest for this morning, Miss Carolyn Franklin. Oh, Miss Franklin, as we close out the show, I have one final question, and I want you, if you could please give some advice. What advice would you give to emerging leaders, board members, and professionals who just want to strengthen their understanding of governance and parliamentarian leadership?
Great question. Thank you, Dr. RC. You know, a leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. And I truly believe that a good leadership is not measured by the authority you hold. You don't want a big old ego, uh, but by the lives you inspire and the trust you build and the example you set every day. Leadership is inspiring others to be more, to do more, to want more in your absence. So I truly I had the life I had the right, or not the right, but I had the ability or the blessing to lead so many social workers in Chicago public schools. I had almost 400 people. And I still hear from them, because if I had to give them something that was difficult, it's not what you do, it's how you do it. And that grace and the mercy and the thought behind, let me be a leader who can be respectful of everyone, who would be a person who, well, if something isn't done properly, let me tell you how you can do it. And let me show you and talk to you in a way that's respectful. So, a leadership is not about ego. Leadership is about inspiring. And just because you think that something should be, you need to listen to everyone and think about the legacy that you're leaving. And you don't want to leave a legacy of despair and um, anything negative. I want I want to live the life that I preach about. And so as a leader, I would say, why are you wanting to lead? What's your why? Is your why to inspire, encourage, and to leave a legacy? Or is it about me, 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 me? And when you're leading, if no one's following you, you're not a leader. And so I don't know if I hope I answered your question, Dr. RC.
You did. You did. Thank you so much. Ms. Franklin, thank you for sharing your wisdom, leadership, and experience with us today. Our conversation reminds us that successful organizations are not built solely on passion, good intentions, or even strong leadership. They are built on foundation, order, accountability, fairness, transparency, and shared commitment to serving a greater purpose. Too often, parliamentarian procedure is viewed simply as a set of rules. But we've learned today it really is about creating an environment where people can work together effectively, make decisions, navigate differences respectfully, and ensure every voice has an opportunity to be heard. This is not just governance, it's leadership. And leadership is done by creating impact that lasts far beyond a meeting agenda or a vote. To our listeners today, I hope that this conversation encourages the way you think and help you to think differently, organizations you serve, because we strengthen the process, we strengthen our leadership and our whole. Because when we strengthen the process, we strengthen our organizations as well. When we strengthen our organizations, we strengthen our communities. And when we strengthen our communities, we create a lasting impact. And as I close, I want to leave you with this thought. Our order is clarity. Leadership inspires our action. Accountability builds trust, because leadership is our structure. Until next time, take care. Thank you for tuning in. And remember to never be afraid to spread your wings as you elevate to new heights and dare to soar. Happy 4th of July. Take care. I won't be on next week. Enjoy your weekend.
This has been Dare to Soar with your host, Dr. RC. Come take a ride and soar to your highest level possible each week on Dr. RC's Dare to Soar.